Hi, and welcome to Breakfast with Max. I'm Max, your host, and this is your first meal of the day or your first meal during awakening or after awakening. And I welcome you with all my heart to this amazing moment that we can share together. And as a welcome, I have here a crystal ball that I'm going to just make. You see, this is my crystal ball. I think you can see it. You see, yeah, there you go. Ooh. Okay, just a little bit. Try not to. Oh, let me see. Aha, I have a new mic. Yeah, so let me just put it this way and here. So, one, two, three. All right. Good. And I keep this here. Oh, you see, already the vibrations, the energies have changed. It's such an amazing thing that I have discovered recently last year, and I'm working with it now. Um, I have sessions with someone. I think I'm going to introduce her at some point in the near future, in a future episode of Breakfast with Max. So, well, this is the first, no, the second Breakfast with Max in 2020. But the first one I do alone. The last episode we had Roxanne Swinehart, um, and that was really emotionally and well, that was amazing. And if you haven't seen it yet, really go and check that out because listen to it. It's an amazing moment and a lot of wisdom and a lot of interesting things have been said during that episode. So, well, it has been a little while. Still have the second part of death, the second part episode about well life, how we uh, enter into this reality. I have already recorded it. I just have to edit it and then publish it. It's for very soon. I don't know yet when, but and that was recorded in 2019. So this is actually really the first alone video I'm doing in 2020. So I have so many things I'm going to do with Breakfast with Max. I have new interviews that I have. One that is upcoming, I'm going to record very soon, is with the magical Nora Herold. And I'm very pleased to have her on Breakfast with Max. And we will hear from the Pleiadian, from Ursula, and everyone else. Yeah, so and well, many other to come that I'm going to prepare very soon. I think Well, I'm not going to say whom. I'm someone from Singapore that I hope it's going to be soon with us, and then we'll see. Many others. So, we have a lot of topics that yes, we have a lot of topics that's correct that we want to address, and um, today, let's say, look, I didn't I went on holiday on at the end of 2019, and I wanted to do something, but I wasn't in a place where I could really record anything. So um, I've been through a lot these last few weeks, and mainly I've confronted guilt, my guilt, but not only my guilt as Max, my guilt over um, many lives and attracted. I mean, um, we have to be clear about what reincarnations are. We do not reincarnate as I die as Max and Max comes back with another name and new parents. No, that's not how it works. We attract, we have a vibrational, a energetical attraction, connection with other incarnations, but everything is happening right here, right now, all over the universe, so there isn't. How can I, in that conditions, reincarnate myself when I die? I am already reincarnated, but it's not me, it's another version of my whole self, another creation of my whole self, another vibration of my whole self that is incarnated as someone else. And I have a, oh, sorry, and I have a connection with that incarnation. As I have connection with, well, infinite other version of my whole self, as infinite number of species of me, that, you know, so that it's me, but when I say it's me, it's my I intend my whole self. So when I say I've been through that trauma, and that it touches many lives, it means that we are connected. We are one. And this is something that I have even more realized recently, when we are always one. We are always one. We're never alone. We're never separated. We are always together. So that you only feel like if you were alone. That's the magic of separation. That's the experience of being separated. But that's just an illusion. And that illusion, it's not real, obviously. Oh, everything here is an illusion, but that one is particularly one that is very strong. We really strongly feel as if we were alone many times. When we are, especially when we are confronted with difficult moments, well, there is no one coming to save us. But that's just an impression, because our guides, our friends, our supports is always there. But they are not there to prevent us to have an experience. Because our incarnation has the meaning or has the ability to give us experiences. Why would you incarnate yourself if it wasn't to have experiences? You much better not to incarnate in that case, because you miss completely the point. But we cannot miss the point, because obviously our whole self and our knows better, and we also know. We just don't remember, but we know. So, being confronted with guilt, my guilt, and many other whole self's life, my other counterpart, whether it's a version of me. I have infinite versions of me. I'm infinite. You are infinite. Every one of us is infinite. So I have infinite version of me. And also I have an infinite versions of my whole self's incarnations that are related to me energetically. So do you want guilt? Well, every one of us, we have enough guilt. And so it begins with a feeling of my guilt, but then if you allow yourself to dig into it, you realize that it's not just you, but it's more of you, and that goes very deeply. So that needed some work, that needed to be faced, accepted, and then to be released. With love, always with love. And then I'll say struggled, but is an important word, because it's not real. I was not struggling. We never struggle, but it's in the sense that I wasn't my let's put it this way: my old me and my new and my new me do not match vibrationally and anything. So when and when I say my old, my new, it's that we change all the time. Changes is the only constant in the universe, so we change all the time. So I'm changing, and with this change, with this changing, is that the new me comes, and here is my old me. My old me doesn't know yet about change, and it's just confronted at some point with the new me coming in, and that's when you can have the struggle. It's just that the old me doesn't recognize the new me, and well, that's the moment where I was not feeling in my right state of mind. And so in the end of the day, in the end of the moment, that is what? That is the difficulty that comes every time you work on something, and then you think, okay, it's done. I can. This is a work I've done. I don't need to do it again. It's over. I can focus on something else. Then you do that, and then your vibrational state changes. You are completely a new you. And suddenly, what you thought was done, you discovered that you are still you're still there. But it's not because you haven't done your work in a correct way. It's because that's how it works. You change your vibration, a new comes in with a new vibration, and then, well, that's it. You have to start all over your work. You have to face all the things that seem to you to be done. Yeah, but you did. The old version of you did it, but the new version of you has to do it. So in a new moment, you have to face what you thought you had done in an old moment, but it's not the same you anyway, so you did not do it. It's just a memory you have, but memories are what? Created in the moment. You have no past, no future. You have only the moment. So the work has to be redone. So um, what all of us we have is that we struggle with our own value. Let me see. I think I'm going to just need a bit. Yeah. We struggle with our value. We're confronted. That's basically what we learn from infancy. That we are nothing. And that is so powerfully done, and our main uh, teachings, whether religion, whether school, whether parents, whether whatever, they teach us that we are nothing. And so we go through life with that in our heads. And then suddenly we start to do a personal work. And we start to discover our beauty, our value, how wonderful we are. We come from a place of hate, and suddenly we are shown how much love we are. And so we start being that love. But also that needs to be rediscovered, a work that has to be done all the time when the new you comes in. Because the old you, well, he's dead, but the memories are still there. The struggles are still there. All those lives are still there, happening in right that moment. And all of that energy, all of those vibrations are always influencing us. As I said before, we are never I, we are always we. There is no moment, there is not a single moment where we are alone. We are never alone. And that also is something that we are not taught. Never alone. We are always we. Always. Isn't it beautiful? It is. So, you see, I've been working on all of this, um, and I'm really happy tonight, today, when I was coming home. I was just thinking, what a wonderful moment, what a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to be incarnated, to be here right now, and to be experiencing all of this, and to be able to do all of these things. Yeah, it's not easy, but it is. All is a choice. And I realize, because this is the base of one of the base of the teachings. We are creators. We create our reality. All of it. And when you start being confronted to this, to what you are, and remember, the teaching are always available. All the knowledge is always available to you. There is nothing that you don't know. There is nothing that you cannot access. But all is relevant in the moment. Your knowledge is in the moment, so that what you need is in the moment. So that your creation, what is in your moment, it's your creation. So your vibration, everything. And so this is one of those knowledges that you start with. Oh, I'm a creator. Okay, so I create. All right, I create. And then you have an epiphany and you realize, oh, but I create everything. Yeah, all right. So, everything? Oh, so in fact, my co-creator, the person that is there with me co-creating in this moment, oh, that is my creation too. In other words, I create the version of my co-creator that is in my co-creation, in my reality. It's creating through me, because, oh, all of my creation comes from the inside. Well, not inside. Remember, your body is not your true self. It's not your whole self. You are in your whole self. So your body is contained in your whole self. In your vibration is contained in the biggest in the larger, or in the whole self. And large is not a good way of putting it, because it's not large, there are no dimensions, but I mean, it's to give you an idea. Is that you are always with your whole self, so that, yeah, oh, it means that your creation comes from there, not from here, not from any of this, because this, it's also my creation. I create this body. Huh. Wait. But then I'm creating all that I'm seeing. So that's when you discover the abundance, your abundance. You are creating exactly what you need in the moment. Here and now, in this moment, what do I need? I need a camera. I have 3 or 4 here, so, well, enough of cameras. I need a mic. I have 1, 2, 3, at least 3, 4 mics. I need a computer. Well, I have a computer. I want it to give you some sound. Look, I have something to create sounds. Oh, my goodness. I have everything I need to do what I'm doing right now. That's abundance. That's abundance, people. Even more than abundance. I need lights. I have lights. I need, well, the electricity to have the light. Well, I have the light, so I have the electricity. I need a chair. I have a chair. And all of this, I'm creating it right here, right now. Do I need anything else? No. I have everything that I need right here, right now. This is creation. This is what abundance means. Your creation, your creator, you create always in your moment exactly what you need in order to give yourself exactly the experience that you wanted to give to yourself. And that's good. But do you trust it? Hmm. We haven't learned to trust. We haven't learned how creation works. So when we are confronted with creation, that when we discover our our power, how we create easily everything. You go to the ocean, you are creating the ocean. You look to the sky and you see the sun, you are creating the sun. You look to the sky and you look to all the stars, the sun, the moon, you are creating them. Yeah, easy. And you do it like that. Do you think about that? No. When you need to walk, do you doubt that you can walk? No. You know you can walk. And so you walk. Yeah, that's how creation works. You don't think about it. You don't ask about it. You don't impose it. Creation just happens. Because that's what we do. We create constantly, all the time. And it's not possible in any other way because we always are. We never cease. We never stop to be. So we create all the time, whether we are awake, whether we are sleeping, whether we are whatever, we are creating. And that's abundance. And that's when you realize that if you really wanted to define anything, when you realize that you create everything and that you create all that you need, you realize that you are rich because you are you. There isn't biggest abundance than being you, being me, that being we. And I realize today how that is so beautiful. And so I'm even more in love with myself. Wow, I cannot be more in love with myself. I am love. Each one of us, we are love. Unconditional love. So don't try to define it. It's just unconditional. Oh, yeah. And that. Oh, yes. Yeah. No. And there is something else that I wanted to talk about today. And that I'm going to develop over the next episodes and in my sessions. Something that I have a voice. I don't think I have talked about this on Breakfast with Max, but I want to go into it now. It's not an easy thing. Um, and that is the hybridization, hybridated. It's not easy in English. Hybridization program. So the program that creates the hybrids, that becomes the accessory, and so that become our future society, our future self, and um, that we face with the gray, with the zeta reticulate. I am part of that, of that, and it started as I was a child, very very early. I just remember it, and I just had a memory of it, the memory of having a gray appearing in front of me as I was a child. As I said, that wait, he said that was in 1979. Oh, I'm not sure, 78 or 79. I have the information, but right now it doesn't. It's not important. And but it doesn't mean that it started there. It probably started before. What this program is they use so the zeta the gray the zeta are our future selves in a parallel reality. Um, they have in order to survive a very difficult environment where Earth or their version of Earth or their planet, I'm not sure which planet, but I think it was Earth. Um, they went on a path of pollution and going very far with that. So that in order to survive, they have to change their body, change their appearance, change everything about them. So they became, so that they were not able anymore to have children, so to procreate. So they came in our reality in order to use us, their ancestors, our genetics, that were, from their point of view, we were more pure in our genetics, so that we are fertile, we can have children. So they can use us in order to um, yeah, in order to create new version of them, and this new version of them becomes, well, the in what we call the future, become the assassin as the new sixth hybrid species on Earth. Yeah, so many of us are have been chosen to go um, into this thing, and we agreed about it. Obviously, we gave our agreement. It's not something that is done against our will. What we were not expecting, most of us, is that the gray in their changing their genetics, their, let's say like that, or they lost the zeta reticulate. They've lost any connection with feelings. So by losing that, they are unable to um, to have, let's say, a behavior that is humanly compatible, so that the experience for us incarnated as humans here and now becomes a traumatic, very very heavy, very very difficult, and we don't have memories of that, or we are like me, I have just a little piece here and there, and that little piece that I gave to myself allowed me recently to go in search for answers, to see what was that. And I confess I was miles away from doubt, even doubt, how far that could go. How is it that I cannot remember any of those encounters? Well, why should I remember? If I could remember it, will I be able to have a normal life? No, it's impossible. So the memory factor is a necessity. We're not able to process this information until we decide that we are able, that we can. And so that is basically the process. And now I have avoided going into details. I just know that I have children. Everyone that is involved in the hybridization program, yeah, program, that's the word that I was looking for. We have children. At what degree? I think I have 5 children. Um, but I have more because as you are part of this program, you have, let's say, direct children, but your DNA, but well, your energy goes into much more, so that you have a lot of relatives that are created through the program. And so that your descendants, if we can call it that way, um, it's huge. Um, but I have avoided going into more details because there has to be in there a lot of suffering. Because um, many that have come to some memories of digging into something, they have a lot of suffering. Some people realize that they have problem sleeping, they're afraid of the dark, they're afraid to be alone in their room. They have a lot of sort of fears that are uncharacteristic for them. But obviously with these experiences, it becomes normal to have fears, to and you have no way to know why you have that trauma in you until you're ready to process it. And I've, as I said, been avoiding going into the details. One side because I know that now the situation with them has completely changed, as they have found. They have found a way back to emotions so that they are able now um, to to connect with us in another level, in a more humanly, let's say, but it's not humanly, in a more compassionate way, let's say, so that when before it was like an adoption, an adoption, now it becomes more, well, going for a trip, yeah, with friends. Um, and I have moments where I know that I go, but we don't have. Um, I don't have the memory. I just turn my head with the corner of my eye. I see them coming, but then my action continues, and I turn back, and it's like I haven't left, but I have left. But time is not an issue because time doesn't exist. And when you are operating in a timeless basis, well, it doesn't matter. You will always be back exactly where you left because you never left. From the point of view of the human, you never left. Obviously, I am scared, but that's okay. It's good to know so that you can stop knowing it. You can stop knowing your fear because you know that you are with that fear. But that fear doesn't control you. So I will be going into that. But that is also because we can ask when we are ready to have a more conscious experience, so that we can remember, or we can have data, we can know what is happening, which is a good thing. And so we'll see. It's probably not something that it's possible to freely, I don't know, to share. We'll see. I don't know. It's new. It's new. And I am very curious to keep knowing and discovering my children. Well, when I say children, obviously, yeah, they are children, but they are not, as they are member of the Assassoni, and yeah, I mean, and I have two species, but let's keep it with the Assassoni at the moment. And that's new. And it's a concept that it's fascinating because I never expected to have children. And now I have. And I don't even have to go through what parents in third dimensional uh, yeah, go through. And probably that my children are even more evolved and more intelligent, more sophisticated, more, well, they are in a other dimension, so they have access to more than me, my ego, has. My, yeah, third dimensional being appearance and limitation. But that's only belief. Always. Because I was talking before about creation. Yes. But creation is also what? Created on the base of our beliefs. So if our belief is limitation, well, that's what we get. That's what we create. We create a version of us that is limited. And the new discovering of me is that I'm not inferior. And you see, a lot of this, a lot of what I'm saying plays on what? The value. My value. Do I value myself? Huh. That's something that I've learned not to do as a child, as a young man. And it's something that I'm learning now. To value myself, my value. The infinite, limitless value of me, of us. Yes. And then we'll see. We'll see what this will bring. But it's a fascinating experience. And that's an experience that I have chosen. As those of you that are part of this program, you choose it. You accepted it. Not consciously, but at the level of your whole self, that's what you do. And I know that I have friends there, and that's amazing because we have really this concept of confrontation and enemies and whatever, and we think that all of this is done against us. When it is done with our consent. We didn't we did consent to all of it because they could not have done any harm to us without us agreeing to it, obviously on another level. It doesn't take away the pain, the struggle, and all the trauma that we experience after those traumatic experiences. So it doesn't excuse it from the point of view of the victim and perpetrator program that we run on our world. But as I said many times, I'm not a victim. You are not a victim. I am not a perpetrator. You are not a perpetrator. We are gods. We are creators having experiences. That's all we are. And as my friends the Pleiadian tell me so many times, and Nora tells a lot, you are not a perpetrator. A perpetrator is created through untransmitted trauma. And a victim is someone that attracts a perpetrator. Why? Because a victim calls is attracting them. And that's absolutely true. I've seen so many people behaving like victims. And guess what? They have met the perpetrator. Whatever it was, it always happens to them. It always happens to them. Why? Because they attract it. They are victims before being made victims. Anyway, but as Roxanne has repeated many times, stop playing the victim. You're not a victim. No, I'm not. I'm a creator, and therefore, whatever situation happens where I could be a victim, I create it. So if I am a victim, I am all a victim of myself, and that's not possible. I give myself an experience, and that's all. So that's why understanding this, and even if you have to be angry, you have to feel it. You don't have to run away from your feelings. But once you have played all of that game, time will come where you have to recognize, I am a creator. I create everything. Everything. With no exception. Everything. And today I was watching a video of a video of Bashar, and this woman that works with refugees and people that have been victim of war, of terrible situations. She asked him, how can I explain to these people this thing with being the creator, and so creating your moment so that whatever is in there, it's your creation. How can I tell them this when they come from that situation of war, or they have they are victim of terrible crimes? Yeah, not easy, isn't it? Well, Bashar gives this, obviously answers very well that questions. You're welcome. Which is not an easy thing to explain to someone that sees the reality of these people and lives it, because she's there with them. And still, that is the experience that they are giving themselves. And remember, all of us, we have been in that situation at one point or another in our existences, which is, as I said before, it's not that you reincarnated in that situation. It's not me, that's not you, it's another version of our whole self that had that experience. But it's like if we had it, because as I said, it's always we are never separated, we are always together. So that that experience is done together. So we had that experience, not in this life, not me, not us, not here and now, not in my memory. But one side, there is that other version of my whole self, and there is me too. Another version of me could be in that situation. We are experiencing everything that can be experienced, and there are infinite versions of Earth with infinite versions of experiences. Well, creation is limitless. Yeah, we have learned limits, and we have no limits. We believe we have them. That's why it's not easy for us to overcome our limits. But when you stop validating your beliefs, magic happens. Literally, magic happens. Yeah. And with this, with the magic, I say thank you. It's been an honor sharing all of this with you, with us, with everyone. And I don't know how long I've been chatting, but it has been a while, so I needed to do this and just do it this way. And next time we'll see. There are many surprises that are waiting on this 2020, and we're not going to spoil them. Me, even don't know what the surprises are. I just kept it that. Okay. Thank you for joining us to share your light with us, and I love you, and I say goodbye in the love and light of the one creator. Bye bye.